And good morning, Michelle. I think we're ready to get started whenever you are.
Perfect. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope everyone had a lovely holiday season and lovely to see everyone here. We're kicking off 2025 and we look forward to our discussion today. I believe today is a roundtable discussion and one topic of interest is impact investing. So I'll pass it to Matt Bogosian, to our executive director, to dive in a little deeper. Matt, the floor is yours.
Great, Michelle. Thank you. And good morning, everyone. Welcome. It is January 6th, 2025, if you can believe it. Happy New Year. This is, as you've heard, AMCC's National 30-Minute Call, same time every Monday, 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central, 9:30 Mountain, 8:30 Pacific. I'm Matt Bogosian, Executive Director of AMCC, the nation's manufacturing community of practice. So started a new year, getting back at it, adding value to America's sustainable development by focusing on strengthening the manufacturing cornerstone in regions and across the country, key industries, making smarter products that solve problems and improve the human condition. Of course, to do that, we need to build and maintain authentic, useful relationships as one of the many key activities we do this call. And the weekly AMCC Update email newsletter are two efficient weekly virtual activities, and the regional co-created AMCC roadshow visits in person and the Manufacturing Momentum Summit that we had last month are the two in-person activities that are key to building and maintaining relationships. And but these virtual and in-person activities are good, but they're only a part of it. They're a building block to building a better narrative in regions and across the country, better strategies, better actions, and ultimately better structures that we can produce more sustainable outcomes for our people. So yeah, takes time, persistence, lots of teamwork. But as one colleague told me over the break, this work is inevitable. It's growing because it's got to get done. So it's something I think most folks in this network, share. It's like, but how do we do it, right? So that's what these calls and activities are all about. So thanks for playing your role in that, drawing others to it. And we have David had sent out these new call invitations. So the first thing I wanted to do up front is to make sure that everyone's gotten these Monday call invitations and see if there's any problems. We got a lot of folks on here. It looks like it's going well, but David, anything else you want to raise just about the call invitations? Yeah.
No, it looks like if you made it here, you got the call invite, so that's good to hear. Let me know if you had any issues. I was just checking in with people every so often to make sure that the calendar invites actually arrived properly. So if you have any issues, let me know. And also the link to today's call is going to be the exact same link through the end of the year. So if it showed up wonky on your calendar and you want to set it up yourself, just take this link. It'll be the complete same through this upcoming December.
Awesome. Thank you, David. And remember, this call, there's a lot of activities that can happen on this call. One of them is, of course, just, speaking up, raising your hand at whatever time, dropping information in the chat. It may not be exactly on topic, but that's okay. We've got to move fast. You guys are all busy. We only have so much time to collaborate outside of our silos. And so we've got to take advantage of that. And so using the chat, we've seen that over the years, a very useful tool and tactic to put your information, not only who you are and your organization in your email or whatever, but other things that are crossing your radar so we can make the most of these 30 minutes. So thanks for modeling that, folks that are on the call doing that. Lots of great activity at the end of the year. I want to highlight, as we do on these calls, I usually talk a little bit at the beginning about activities that are happening on a roundtable call. I try to speed the conversation in the AMCC update that goes out the week before, but it's really an open forum for you guys. to raise issues. I mean, one of the great advantages of AMCC, right, is that it's a feedback loop, right? That it's not all of us on high going, oh, here's all the answers or whatever. It's a feedback loop where you guys say, I'm out here in wherever, and I see we're not getting attention to this, or we're not getting attention to that, or wow, this thing is really working. I had no idea that if we did X, Y, and Z in this region this way, we get the outcomes that we're trying to produce. So this feedback loop that we have generated over the years, super important to getting at the stuff that we're sending back at you. And what we send back at you is the collective impact work that we're doing that is not static, that it needs continuous feedback. So that feedback loop is super important. David put together a year in review document that he's going to drop into the chat, if you would, David, which is a really nice summation. So like people in your network, you're saying, hey, I was on this AMCC call, or there's this AMCC update thing that goes out. What the heck is that about? Well, this year in review document, we handed it out at the Manufacturing Momentum Summit. It's a good summation of what happened last year. So people go, oh yeah, this thing is like active, man. These guys are on offense, not just me, David, it's the whole group, right? This whole effort across the country has been, it's a 10-year overnight success. Yeah, that's what somebody said. So anyway, that's a good tool. We have David put up a Manufacturing Momentum Summit page also on the website. I would throw that, David, if you could drop that in there. Holy cow, man, there is so much great content. We recorded the panels, and each of the panels are there. I would say those two docs, I don't know, David, do you have any other thoughts? Those two docs are pretty good. Like, okay, here's 2024, and then you could dive in to the summit recordings and see, man, this is an impressive. Those two things, if you're trying to introduce somebody to AMCC, those are pretty good tactics there to share. The other thing, and heads up, if you're new on this call or want to reintroduce yourself, I'm going to call that out in a second, because I want to hear and meet more people and hear about you guys. But the last thing I want to say up front here is about the playbook. So, right, building metrics around this kind of bottom-up approach is critical to producing, stronger outcomes, with better, evidentiary correlations between our activities and the outcomes we're trying to produce. And so there's been a multi-year effort with NIST and DOD and DOE and a lot of federal agencies that are and private sector players in trying to produce an open source manufacturing community ecosystem metrics tool and playbook. And we had come out, thanks to you all and the collective work of those leaders, a 1.0 version of a playbook for the manufacturing community ecosystem metrics. And so, as we said at the Manufacturing Momentum Summit a few weeks ago in person in DC, your homework, everyone's homework here, is to look at that playbook and give us feedback. So David, thanks for dropping that into the chat. So grab that thing. This is supposed to speak to you guys and to everyone in your networks, public, private, nonprofit sector players. If this doesn't speak to you, tell us, and tell us why not. If it does, tell us why. Tell us, other ideas, or really importantly, and we have these every other week calls with these kind of some of the key stakeholders that help put this thing together, and we have one later today. So I'll raise whatever you say here, to that group as well. But tell us who else is doing this kind of thing in other quarters, right? Because we don't want to reinvent the wheel. Now, a lot of good work has happened over the last couple of years to develop this 1.0 version, but we do this with great humility, knowing that there is we're constantly coming across other groups that are doing this kind of open source collective impact evidence, metrics work. And so yeah, I just want to call that out. We're going to continue to call that out, you guys. So it's just buckle up. Thanks in advance for enduring the constant, steady approach. This is really complex system science, complex adaptive systems analysis, and it takes persistence and a lot of network feedback for this to improve. So thanks in advance for feedback there. Let me stop here. This is a roundtable call. Just like every call, I want to open it up to folks to introduce themselves really quickly, say who you are, what organization you're a part of, and why don't we do that now? I see some new names on here, so just raise your hand and say hello. If you want to reintroduce yourself, fine. How about Michelle Barnett? I see you up there. Hi, Michelle.
Hey guys,
Welcome.
I'm glad to be on here. I've been on here a couple of times before, but kind of hit or miss, so I appreciate it. Michelle Barnett, I'm with the City of Tulsa's, the Tulsa Authority for Economic Opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for being on. And how about Julie? Is it Julie Michael I see on there?
Sorry about that. I had to find my audio. Yes, I'm Julie Michael Smith. I am the coalition manager for the newly formed Lawrence Mercer Manufacturing Coalition in Western Pennsylvania. We are a manufacturing industry sector partnership. I'm also affiliated with the Mahoning Valley Manufacturing Coalition, which is right across the state line in Ohio as well.
Great. Well, welcome, Julie. We at the Manufacturing Momentum Summit, we had Petra Mitchell from Catalyst Connection there, and you're undoubtedly connected to her, I'm sure, along the way. Welcome, and it's great to have you on board here. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've joined in the past a few times again, like
Great.
others. Can't miss, but I find it to be very informative. So thank you for putting this
Well,
on.
good, and it's okay. Hit and miss is okay, right? Because we're all busy and we got a lot on our agenda, and so thanks for calling that out. It's we appreciate that. How about is it Barb Lemieux?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Matt. Yes, it is. I'm President and CEO of New North. We are an 18-county economic development corporation in Northeast Wisconsin. So I work with Buckley on a lot of different things. So I am most appreciative of all the work you guys have done to pull this together.
Great, Barb. Welcome. Great to have you on here. Tonya, I see your hands up. Welcome. I think
there we go. Now we got it. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the invite to this meeting. Matt and David, I think we had you in our center more than a year ago here in Mississippi. So I'm trying to make a concerted effort in the new year to attend. But I'm the director at Mississippi State University's CABS Extension, which is an affiliate MEP center. We do a lot for our industry outreach, provide professional development training, and also do a lot of engineering, manufacturing field projects across the state. So we've been in existence for about 20 years, kind of brought here to support the Nissan plant across the interstate, and then expanded that to all industry across the state of Mississippi. So appreciate the invite and look forward to talking with you all more.
Great, Tonya. Welcome. Great to see you. And that was a great roadshow visit that we had through Mississippi. Very impressive, Mississippi State. Yeah, Brittany, welcome.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Rosenberg. I'm with the Texas Manufacturing Assistance Center. We're the Texas MEP. So I see a lot of fellow MEP people on there. Hello, good morning, Happy New Year. And we just met y'all back in December when you came through and brought the roadshow to our area, which was a really great meeting. And FYI, we are now partnering with the UTA Center for Innovation, and we will be hosting quarterly regional meetings with those people in attendance, and a bunch more people will be bringing to the table. So thank you for the kickoff on that.
Yeah, no, thank you. And if we can add value, to that, virtually for sure, please let us know.
Y'all will definitely get the invite.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Great example of, one of the co-benefits of doing the roadshow visits is bringing stakeholders, like what happened in Texas, our coming through is a forcing function to get stakeholders to work together that should already have been working together. So it's awesome. Carolyn Bush, welcome. Yeah.
Hi, I've been coming to this for a couple of years now. I was previously the Workforce Innovation Sector Lead with a real emphasis in manufacturing. Sarah Lee, it was the Advanced Manufacturing Sector Lead at Commerce in Washington State. And we no longer have an Advanced Manufacturing Sector Lead. So I come to these, learn a great deal, and try to come up with ideas on how to assist the current workforce manufacturing sector lead, because right now I do policy and legislation for the office. And that's really, I think, where in Washington we need to get a lot more understanding about what happened in manufacturing, how do we find ourselves here, and then how do we get out of it? How do we get back to being preeminent in manufacturing? Thank you.
Yeah, that well said, Carolyn. And well, one way is like doing what you're doing is getting out of your silo or bringing your silo in with other silos and working together in this kind of collective impact theory. I mean, it's great. And one of the, just back, we were just talking about the Texas Roadshow. We're looking forward to figuring out how to co-create a visit up in the Northwest this year. I think that would really, really be outstanding. So welcome. And really you're underscoring another point I was making earlier, right? It's great to have more MEPs, right? This is a long-standing federal investment into regions. But that's only, one set of stakeholders, right? Is bringing all of the state government stakeholders that have equity in manufacturing, the nonprofit sector stakeholders that have an actual, of course, the private sector. We have a lot of private sector players. If you are at the Manufacturing Momentum Summit, you can check it out in one of the recordings that David put in the chat. This metrics work. We have partners at Deloitte who have open source. They're sharing and working with us and developing these tools and tactics. We've got to really take a kind of full court press on reestablishing manufacturing in key industries in this country in the 21st century, and it's really going to take a team approach. So thanks, Carolyn. Looking forward to our networking and next steps in the state of Washington. You guys, please raise your hand if you want to introduce her. Yeah, Melissa, welcome. Yeah.
Thanks, Matt. And Happy New Year, everyone. I've been on the call a couple of times, so I don't want to take up too much time, but in case there's anyone new, I am leading an industry intermediary contract focused on manufacturing. So we can support you in the development, registration, implementation, expansion of any registered apprenticeship programs to support your talent development in manufacturing occupations. It's free. This is our last year. We also have incentive funding available, and we're about to have our application come out. So maybe by next month, I'll share it in the chat. Not next month, next week, I'll share it in the chat. And we have all kinds of free support for you to help you get your apprenticeship program started.
Awesome, Melissa. That's great. And, of course, this, Melissa, already, whatever you have that's really useful to the network, not only raise it on this call, but send it to us so we can put it in the AMCC update that goes out at the end of the week. Like, that update is so critical and useful, as we've gotten feedback over the years, because you guys send us stuff. Right, that's why it's useful. And we have a lot of great sources there. David does a lot of hard work in putting together that thing that has funding sources, of course, but it also has kind of items that that are critical to the manufacturing sector overall. The big six that we talk about, like just for example, the AMCC update that went out on Friday, had a piece about capital access. So Carolyn talked about Sarah Lee, who's senior advisor for capital access, from doing some work there. That's so critical, right? On so many fronts, capital access is, for getting our manufacturers training, succession planning for new ownership. Oh my gosh, that's a huge area. So we're going to be spending a lot more time this year on capital access across many fronts. Of course, we've always been working, with the Department of Treasury and other folks, but we've had some good meetings over the break with capital access providers. I put in the AMCC update a link to a impact investing handbook, which I think is a useful tool. Like, there's a lot of philanthropic folks out there, as you guys probably know in your networks or whatever, that want to have more efficacy with their donations. They come in many flavors, and there's a lot of critique out there about the efficacy of those donations, and so there's a lot of earnest effort to be for those folks to find more useful impacts with those donations. And so, gosh, this network and the regions doing this good hard work that we're all talking about are great targets, for that investment. And so, how do you operationalize that, right? How do you do that smartly? And so we're going to have I got a podcast interview set up with somebody that's been an expert in that field, that we'll be doing a lot more. And like with anything, if you have something in that sphere that you think is like top notch that should be shared, send it to us, by email or call us or whatever. That's super important work there. So let's see, any others that want to introduce or reintroduce themselves, and say hello. Hey, say hello, Stephen Bader. I see you on here. Welcome. We had a great session in California, in the East Bay of California. It's a huge manufacturing group there. I hope your summit, ex post facto, was considered a big success, was it? Yeah.
It absolutely was, Matt, and we really appreciate all the time and support from you and David, and really this entire network. And we do lots of things around regional economic development beyond just manufacturing, but it's been, as you say, a key part of particularly our region's innovation ecosystem, just because of the diversity of sectors, from food and beverage to clean tech to biotech to automotive and lots of other sectors. But yeah, your resources and the wisdom of this network has been invaluable, and we're looking forward to continuing to participate in 2025. And
Great,
hope to do a
Stephen.
little more work with our workforce boards in our region right now too. So stay
Rock
tuned.
and roll. Thank you, sir. Edward, see your hand up. Welcome.
Okay, there we go. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Ed Herderick. I'm the newly appointed Education Workforce Development Director for America Makes, which is the Manufacturing USA Institute focused on 3D printing. Our home base is in Youngstown, Ohio, and I just started the role in November. So this is my first call with this group. Some of you may have met my predecessor, Josh Kramer, but excited to be in the role. I know I have a couple of collaborators on the call, and if there's anything that we can do to help support your programs as well, particularly again in 3D printing and additive manufacturing, would love to have those conversations. So thank you for the invite, and look forward to a great 2025.
Great, Ed. Delighted to meet you. And yes, Kimberly Gibson and Josh Kramer before you have been great partners. The institutes, we're excited about having the institutes play a more significant role going forward on all of this good hard bottom up work. Stu Bass, welcome.
Happy New Year, everybody. It's good to see some friends and folks that have been coming to this event. I think this is really valuable. Matt and David, you've been doing a great job in keeping this going and sharing resources and creating this network. just wanted to say, hey, from the labor side, AFL-CIOs working for America Institute, we help with putting together joint apprenticeship councils, and if there's a union involved, we can help with labor management processes. And we have a grant that we're also in our last year, pretty much, for partnership to advance manufacturing apprenticeships. Always wonderful to work with our friends at Jobs for the Future as well. So thanks for putting this all together, Matt and David. And the summit was really great to see folks. You see this little bit of us, and then you see them in person. It's a whole different thing with the conversations and networking that happens. So thank you for that.
Yeah, well, thanks for making the effort to be there, Stu. You know, labor is a critical piece of all of this, and you know, the Manufacturing Momentum Summit, like, we wish we could have invited everybody, you know, to it. The story on that, which you'll hear a little bit about if you listen to you know, some of the opening recording on that, you know, is that, back to this, this is inevitable, right? We should be having an annual meetup of all of the different federal agencies that have interventions that land into regions, but you know, it's just kind of left to the regions to weave those things together in some kind of a like rational set of activities. And that, like, where we are is totally insufficient. And it was great. We had this panel of, what did we have? Seven federal agencies. We could add more on the stage, but we had 7 federal agencies, and many of them are on this call, who are awesome because they are recognizing that they need an outside entities like us to help bring them together. We need to build better structures in this country. And one tactic to getting to those better structures is to have an annual meetup. And so thanks to our friends at the National Association of Counties that said, hey, use our space, and NIST that came in with a sponsorship so people could have food or whatever. We had at least 80 seats in the room, and that was great. Over, you know, next year, the jury's out, man. Like, what's going to happen in 2025 in terms of the Manufacturing Momentum Summit? DOD, there was talk at DOD about, you know, helping to co-create it. We really need it to be interagency. I mean, that is like obvious. But with regions helping to, you know, dictate or work with the agencies on what the agenda ought to be, what's, you know, how these interventions land in regions, how they can better land in the regions, and so it's an exciting set of work, and we saw it manifest itself, you know, a bit at the Manufacturing Momentum Summit last month, but. Glad you were there, Stu, and glad many others were on the call. I wish everybody could be, but you can check it out, like David dropped into the chat. I know others here, well, heck, we only have 1 minute left. David, anything else I should be bringing up? Michelle, anything else I should be bringing up right now?
I think that covers it for now.
Yeah, I think you got it, Matt.
Okay. Great, you guys. Well, thanks. Have a great week. Check out the AMCC update. It'll be happening at the end of the week. Please send us feedback on the playbook, on anything. Happy 2025, and let's get after it. Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.